Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we go. Another episode, another show. Waiting for my co-host to get on board. We're gonna go ahead and get into this thing. Let's go.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness. Well. Welcome to Steel Radio. I am your host, Steel, and that is my lovely co-host, Ebony, aka Miss Hot Topic, in the motherfucking building, in the motherfucking building. First of all, we like to say we don't own the rights to any of this music that we play on the show, but y'all already know that by now. We ain't trying to get sued, fined, or anything like that. So just want to say thank you guys for tuning in to another Wednesday episode. Tonight we are going to be talking about toxic relationships. That's right, you heard it. Toxic relationships. Have you been in one? Are you in one right now? If so, what did you do to get out of that toxic relationship or situation? If there's any advice you can give on this subject or you want to comment, please do so in the comment section as we get ready to get into the show. We want to say hello and welcome to everyone who continues to tune in with us every Wednesday and Sunday night. We definitely thank you for your participation. Tell somebody to tell somebody to know somebody to tell somebody else. We're trying to get these views up there. Yeah? Yes. Big shout out to WMEG online radio station that we are now affiliated with. Woo! Stop playing with them. We in the motherfucking building. You hear me? Big shout out to everybody at the station. We look forward to bringing what we can bring to a already successful radio station and company. So we do appreciate you for giving us the opportunity to be part of such a wonderful organization and team. So we definitely big shout out to WMEG Radio Online. We will, in the days to come, we'll tell you how you can be a part of that radio station as far as like listening and tuning in online and stuff like that. Good radio station, good DJs. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And so, Miss Hot Topic, how you feel today? How you feeling? See you getting your situation situated over there.
I was just opening the wine. Thank you, one Scorpio Chica. She said I was cute.
Okay.
I'm okay. I don't know. I haven't really been feeling I don't know. My stomach's been kind of funny all week long. I have a headache every day this week and tired.
Listen, if you catch a fever or something like that, you be on the lookout for that because that could be COVID.
It's not COVID.
What? It's COVID.
It's not COVID. And every now and then I have like this, I get like a coughing spell in the middle of the night. I don't know. I've been doing that for a while. So last night was one of those nights. So I didn't get a lot of sleep. So I just decided I wasn't going to work today.
Okay. I get it. I get it.
But I feel accomplished because, I laid in the bed literally till 6 o'clock this evening.
Oh.
And then I got up and I cooked dinner and got dressed. Thank you, Brittany. I look cute tonight. I mean, do I not look cute other nights? Like, am I especially cute tonight, y'all, or what? Tell me so I can keep this look going. I don't know.
I think you look at something, you got your hair all up in the bun and shit. I mean, you're doing some things over there. You're doing some big things.
I don't, you know what? I do not like combing hair. Like, I just don't like combing my hair.
Yeah.
That's how come I get braided and stuff, because I don't have the energy to like be bothered with curling hair every day and all that other kind of stuff. Ain't nobody got time.
Right. I get, I don't necessarily feel like, curling or doing my hair either. You know what I'm saying? So, I just, it don't taste good.
Well, I think it's because I just brushed my teeth not too long ago, seeing as though I stayed in bed till 6 o'clock. So it tastes a little bitter. Someone brought me this wine as a gift for my birthday, one of my coworkers. And I was like, is that good or bad? Like, am I alcoholic? Like, anyway, it's called Whispering Meadows, The Good Life.
Hold on, I'm trying to get this other.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brittany. Mama B said you always cute, but tonight,
Oh, tonight is you actually cute tonight?
I guess. I don't know. I don't.
Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna say you were looking sensational. So as this intro fades out and we fade in, again, thank you guys for tuning in to Steel Radio. Okay. So, so here's the thing. We're about to get into it a little bit. If you guys have seen you guys are looking at the Instagram page, you notice there's a change in the logo. Right now, I'm using the logo in the background for right now, but probably in the days to come, you're gonna see a new background. So we've gotta take care of some issues on that end. We figured since we're moving forward, we wanted to do something a little different, something a little bit more spicy. So that's why there's a change in the logo. So I hope you guys like it. Same content, just a different logo. That's all. You know what I mean? So we're gonna talk about toxic relationships. Also, just to put it out there now, because we're part of WMEG online radio station right now, we're going to be doing a couple, four shows now.
Yeah, we're going to be adding Tuesday and Thursday to our lineup of shows that we do. So you guys get to see our wonderful faces Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Absolutely. So you guys make sure you guys tune in to watch the shows. Also, when we're on the radio station, we'll be doing a time slot from 8:30 to 11. So we want to also move that same form over to our Wednesday and Sunday show as well. So we're gonna be rocking from 8:30 to 11. We'll try not to we really can't go past that, although the conversations might get good and juicy. We can't really go past that time because that's the time slot that we'll be in for the show. Sometimes especially me, I get caught up in the conversation. We lose track of time because I don't necessarily have a clock right in front of me. So for those viewers at home watching and everything like that, right around like 10:45, somebody do a time check for me around 10:45 to let us know that we're getting close to that 11 o'clock hour so we can close out of here on time. And
now you already know me. You know I have a timer set up.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, what I'm saying, well, amen. You know what I'm saying? You just keep track of the time. Like 10:45, you know what I'm saying? Let me know. Or, if Ebony's, on a roll, please let her know so we can keep track of things so we can close out at 11 o'clock.
The other good news is that we're going to be starting on time.
Yeah, we are going to be starting on time. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be definitely starting on time.
Yeah, we can't tell people at the radio station we're running a little behind. Give us 10 more minutes. So,
yeah,
for those of you who are really time sticklers, you're gonna love the fact that it is at 8:30 Eastern time, 7:30 Central on time.
And also, talking to you, we're gonna talk because I'm a little tired of your logo posting looking better than mine. I don't even like that shit. You know what I'm saying? Mine just be having a banner with the time on it. Yours be lighting up and all that other stuff. You know, you be leaving me out there. You know what I'm saying? You be leaving me out there to dry. So I don't really like that because your shit be popping. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, because it'll come across my news feed. I'm like, wait, what did I post? That's Ebony. God damn it. Camper.
You know, I'm all about the bells and the whistles. I like lights, camera, action. But you know, I also did marketing for a little while. So external relations. I was an external relations something coordinator. It was basically marketing, but the long title was like external relations something coordinator. So
yeah, that was that shit was. I saw it today when it came up a while ago across my news feed, and I was like, yo, that joint is pretty lit, pretty damn lit. Anyway.
Yeah, so, some of our viewers sent me like inboxes and was like, very nice, this is fire. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking at the thing like, wow, it was lighting up Central Time and everything like that. So, yeah, so like when you do that, you're just gonna have to create one and send me one too, but put the 8:30 time for mine. So that way, around the clock, around the board, everything that we do, all the content that we're putting out is looking consistent. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to have one thing and you have something else, and people like that. You know what I'm saying? So.
I mean, well, technically we have the same thing. Mine just had a little twist. That's all.
Yeah, I know, but yours is always more fire than mine. I don't really appreciate that. I want mine to be fire too. You know what I'm
saying? Okay, I got you.
You got me, my good. That's what I'm talking about. So what you sipping on tonight? Like, because that's always a subject of conversation. Like, what is you sipping on?
I just told you. One of my coworkers brought me a bottle of Whispering Meadows. They said it was a wine that comes out of Michigan.
Oh.
It says Whispering Meadows, the good life. So I don't even know. It just says white wine. So I don't even. It's from Michigan. Shout out to Michigan. I found out that apparently Michigan has a lot of really great wine. And so they were like, yeah, every time I go, I get 20 bottles of it and I just give them out as gifts. So.
Okay, well, that's what's up. Well, you know me, as usual, I'm sipping on, you know, I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, straight out of the Deer Park, you feel me? Spring water. You know, I mean, I heard, you know, they got since 1973, they've been rocking with it. So you know, that's what I'm doing.
Since 73, they didn't have. Yeah. Is that when bottled water came out, or you just made that up?
Well, I wouldn't know. They said established in 1873.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't even know people drinking spring water back then. But who knows?
I know, right? They didn't know it was anything. That's the only way they could get water back then, right?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not really
my face is not beat. You know, I don't. Brittany, you know me every day. You know, I don't wear a lot of makeup. So I guess if this is the beat face, this is as beat as it ever gets because I don't like a whole lot of makeup. Even though I went to modeling school and I know how to beat a face, ain't nobody got time for that.
You went to modeling school?
I did.
Wow. That's what's up. I mean, you're so well versed. You've done so much shit. You've done so much shit.
I did. Yeah. I went to that nice white Barbizon modeling school and I did some runway shows. And you remember Barbizon?
I heard about it. I know, like, you know, back in the day, I remember it was Barbizon. And wasn't it another one that was always that was really, really popular back then?
I think so. But Barbizon was the white one for sure. So my mom put me in Barbizon. The school was right across from Towson Town Center. And so I did some runway shows for them and I did some print ad stuff back then.
Look, you didn't even ain't nobody even know you was like a little supermodel. You didn't even know. Who knew?
Because I wasn't really a supermodel. I was short, so I was never gonna really go places with it, right?
But you had the experience though.
I did.
You had the experience.
I did. So we had to learn how to put on makeup and I know stances and things like that.
Wow, that's what's up. That is what's up.
So
okay, anyway, I mean, we just,
Yeah, Travis Winkie Fashion Fair. Travis Winkie was the black school though. So most, if you was a pro-black, you went to Travis Winkie, and most of the white folks went to Barbizon. So.
But you're not Caucasian. So how did you end up there?
Well, because my mom kind of had the thought process of like, you know, the white folks know better and you're going to have more opportunities with the white folks and they're going to put you on better than Travis will. So I want you to go to this Barbizon.
So let me ask you guys, like, let's talk about that for a little bit. It's like, so were you the only minority there, or was
No, it was just majority white. Like, you know, neither one of them, I don't know if Travis Winky did, but I'm assuming he didn't have a thing that said like white people can't go here, but he was black, you know, so a lot of black people wanted to be in the black modeling school, so.
Right, I can dig it.
Yeah.
Okay. So hello to everyone who's joined in. I think I see one Scorpio Chica. I think I see Roz on there. I really can't. Sneezy, Nitra, K, just everybody who's joined in. I'm just thank you guys for again tuning in to Steel Radio. We're gonna get into this thing tonight. Like I said, we're talking about toxic relationships. You know, have you ever been in one? Are you currently in one? If so, what did you do to get out of toxic relationships? So we would love to hear your views and opinions. Don't be afraid to put the comments up on the board. I'm not gonna read them, Ebony will, because I can't keep track. But yeah, so that's how we rock. And so I'll pose the question to you, Miss Hot Topic. I mean, have you ever been in a toxic relationship? You know what I'm saying? And if you have, I mean, tell us about it. You know what I'm saying? Speak out.
Okay, so first I want to preface this by saying, like, I really hate that, like, in 2021, that toxic is like the buzzword, right? I'm so tired of hearing, like, whenever somebody don't like somebody or somebody didn't do what they want them to do, they're just toxic. You know what I mean? So I think that we should establish what toxic really means. Like, toxic really means that it's somebody who is detrimental to you, your life, your family. Not just somebody who doesn't line up necessarily with what you want and how you want it. That doesn't make a person toxic. So, and I want to say that, like, toxic people or toxic relationships don't have to be romantic relationships, right? Because, like, I got some toxic ass family members, you know what I'm saying? Like, just people that it's better for me to not allow them into my personal space because they just come with drama and they just always need something. They just suck the life out of me. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want it. So that's the first thing. So, and I think that in that case, every human being has probably been in a toxic relationship, whether they recognized it as toxic at the time or not.
Right.
Anybody who sucks the life out of you, anybody who brings more drama, more pain, more issues into your life than anything positive, that shit is toxic, right? So the great thing, I'm really excited about this. The great thing about us being on the radio is that we don't have to censor our language, right? Because I was really nervous. I was like, wait.
We don't have to.
I was like, am I not be able to cuss? Like, how's that gonna work? But we
no.
But that's
and
good.
The reason why is because it's online radio, so it's still the same thing. So, you know, freedom of speech, you know.
Yeah, they don't have to they're not governed by FCC. So we don't have to censor anything that we say or talk about. So we're still gonna have some sex talks, guys, and we're still gonna talk about the shit y'all love to talk about. So so I've been in many toxic relationships, right? At one time I felt like being at this church is toxic. All of the people in this church are toxic to me. You know what I'm saying?
At the church?
Listen, some of the biggest demons and some of the biggest hurdles you will ever have to face are going to happen in the church. And I think one of the misconceptions is people believe, well, if you go to church, you're supposed to be this type of person. At the end of the day, they the same snakes in church that they are outside of church, right? Maybe they're just trying not to be that person. The church is the hospital. Everybody who goes to the hospital is sick, right? So I think we have to keep that in mind. That the first thing is manage your expectations. That's my first word of advice when dealing with toxic people is manage your expectations. Because are they toxic, or is this an expectation you had for them, and when they didn't meet it, you labeled them toxic?
That's deep. That is deep. Something to think about.
It is definitely something to think about because, like I said, people are running around here all day and all night. This guy is toxic and she's toxic and they toxic. Are they toxic? Or did they just not meet the expectation you had for them? And now you're labeling them toxic. Like, because to me, when I call a person toxic, I feel like they're toxic all around. Like, they're not only toxic to me, but they're probably going to be toxic to every fucking body they come across until they deal with some shit.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't know if I can label them toxic.
I do agree that sometimes you're in relationships, whether family relationships or, personal relationships or, girlfriend and boyfriend, however you want to call it. I do believe that if someone doesn't meet your expectations, like you said, but I also feel that the things that come with that person could be toxic, like behavior, behavior toxic and stuff like that. So I think that does also plays into a part of things, and I think the aftermath of that is what makes people toxic when you start doing toxic shit. You know what I mean?
So my first marriage, my ex-husband was toxic, right? But he was toxic because he was abusive, verbally, physically, emotionally. He was an alcoholic at one point. So, like, to me, that's substantial things that everybody can agree. Oh, if this nigga's hitting you, he's probably toxic. You know what I mean? Like, so, so I've definitely been, in toxic romantic relationships. My last, I had one dude when I was younger, and at that time I was small, right? I was like a size 10. And he used to tell me all the time that he wanted me to like get in the gym and lose more weight. And he used to, so he broke down my self-esteem quite a bit, right? I would go to church with him and he would be like, how come you don't wear suits like these women? I want you to wear a suit. Like, it was just always just picking at who I was.
Right.
That shit is toxic, right? And I want to say this though. What we often say is, if you don't accept me for who I am, I'm not by any means saying that people have to accept you for who you are, because who you are might not be that great. You know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes people use that as an excuse. He's going to love me for who I am. You have to comb your hair. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm not talking about when people are actually trying to help you. People are actually trying to help you follow your dreams. People are actually encouraging you to do things that will be good and healthy for you. If I weigh 300 pounds and he's talking to me about, you really want to watch your health, you may really want to lose some weight, that shit's not toxic. That's not I don't think that's a situation where he just won't accept me for me. No, he wants me to be healthy, right? He wants me to do the things that are good for me. That doesn't mean that he doesn't necessarily love me, because obviously if he was my man, he loved me for who I was and he met me when I was fat. You know what I mean? But that don't mean you got to stay there. So when you said, let's talk about toxic relationships, I was like, we really need to get into what toxic really is. I want the audience to weigh in because they real quiet tonight. Y'all weigh in. What do y'all think toxic is? And do y'all think I'm wrong in my assessment of toxicity?
But what you also, I'm gonna jump on what you said though. Sometimes like if we do say, well, accept me for who I am and what I am. If you can't accept me that way, then maybe I might not be the person for you. Because I'm not gonna lie, I say that a lot because I've especially since I've started unpacking a lot of stuff in my personal life. I'm starting to realize there are just certain things about myself that I am. Now, certain things I'm willing to change. But certain things and certain personalities that I have, that's just me. It's just who I am, and accept me. And if you don't, I understand, because I might not be for everybody. Because what I am realizing is because I would always tell people like, well, I'm easy, but I realized that I might not be as easy or skilled. I might not be as an easy pill to swallow as I thought I was. I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? So you got two different kinds of pills. You got the coated pill and you got the gel cap pills. I'm definitely not a gel cap pill. I'm one of them rough motherfuckers that you definitely gonna need some water to swallow. So, you know what I'm saying? So I understand that. But also sometimes in the situation that you said, it's also not what you say, it's how you say it. So if somebody says, hey, babe, you know, you're 300 pounds, they're encouraging you in a different way. Like, well, have you ever thought about losing weight?
Right.
You know, that's kind of like more helping. But if somebody's like, man, you're a fat fuck, you need to lose some fuck. Get your fat ass up and go to the gym.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Now that's toxic, right?
But also, but then here's the thing though. But then we have to dive a little bit further into that, because then it's also just like school or anywhere else, or even just like for me with my students that I train, everyone has a different learning curve, and everyone comes from a different background in which they have learned things. You understand what I'm saying? So some people, when they yell at you and fuss at you, like, yo, get your fat ass up and go to the gym, to them, it might not seem toxic, because maybe that's how they were raised to talk to someone, to encourage somebody, to motivate somebody, and they don't realize that their behavior could be, you know, looked at as being toxic because they never was taught no other way. You get what I'm saying?
Now, I always say people do the best they can with what they have. Let me read some of the comments. Ross says, according to Google, a toxic relationship is one that makes you feel unsupported, misunderstood, demeaned, or attacked. And I can agree with all of those things. One Scorpio Chica says, toxic is anything detrimental to your health, mental or physical health. I've had to change friendships with folks who drained the life out of me, always negative and always critical of everything. Sneezy says, I agree, Ebony. Toxic relationships come in all types. I don't speak to my brother for my own mental health. One Scorpio Chica says, did and said she had to go. I'm still cordial, but she is no longer allowed in my circle. Now, so what I was going to say, you were talking about, Paul, but here's the thing. Just because somebody isn't for you, you don't walk around telling everybody that you talk to about her, who asks you, man, what happened with you and Sheila? You don't be like, man, that bitch is toxic. You don't say that, right? You just be like, it didn't work.
I try not to. Yeah, I try not to. In some situations or some cases I may have, but for the most part, like, I typically try not to go too much in detail about other people's shit, especially when they're not there to defend themselves. You know what I'm saying? I just like, look, shit didn't work, or whatever. Or I will, if I'm telling somebody about my life, about my past, I will bring up a situation, but sometimes I won't necessarily say a person's name. I'll just be like, well, I went through this, and this is what I went through, that type of thing, or whatever like that. You know what I mean? I have been in some toxic relationships. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah. Yeah, it was some of my relationships were pretty toxic. I think I was toxic to them. So I'm not gonna put myself on the pedestal and act like I've never been the toxic motherfucker, because I've been toxic to motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? But I've also had some people who were quite toxic to me. And sometimes you tend to keep those people around because you sometimes, I don't know, you kind of like get used to the shit sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like it becomes a part of you.
You had said something earlier. You said that's just how people talk or behave because that's what they're used to, right? And it made me think, it's particularly in the Black family. We have been told that family is family no matter what, right? We've been kind of raised that, like, if it's your family, it's your family. It doesn't matter how fucked up they are. But that's your cousin. But that's your uncle. You know what I mean? And so it's more of a newer idea, I think, for the Black family or Black folks to start saying, I don't care if you're my brother, aunt, cousin, or even mama, right? If every time you talk to your mama is putting you down, demeaning you, making you feel less than, that shit is toxic. And sometimes we have to make decisions. But also, well, I want to say this. Also, we have to look within, right? Because sometimes we perceive something to be, oh, she's talking down to me. She's not supporting me. Sometimes that's how we perceive it. When the truth is, I'm your friend and I'm just trying to tell you the truth, right? So, because I've been in situations like that where I'm not hating. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. But as your friend, I can't sit here and act like this is cool, right? As your friend, I have to tell you some hard shit sometimes. I still love you, and it is definitely about how you say it, but it still has to be said. So sometimes we have to have conversations with people to let them know, because they don't even know this is how they're making you feel, right? They don't even know this is how you're perceiving it. They don't know this is how you're receiving it. When my son was 16, my son, no, he was 17. He might have even been 18. He had just graduated from high school, right? So I'm thinking that, like, I'm trying to push him to, what are we going to do next in life? You know, what about this and what about that? And so I used to say things to him, you know, my girlfriend had a daughter that was his same age. So I used to say, like, you know, well, so-and-so got their license. So-and-so is doing this. When are you going to do this? Ultimately, my son attempted suicide. While we're in the hospital, you know, when he's going through the whole mental thing of it all, what he said was, me doing that was affecting his mental health. It was making him feel like he was less than. He was never going to meet my expectations. It was comparing him to other people. And I had no idea. I thought I was just pushing him, right? I thought I was just encouraging him, just, you know, and that's not how he perceived it. So he never told me that's not how I perceive it. But once we had that conversation, I now know, okay, I can't approach him in this way because that shit's not helpful. So sometimes it's on us to have conversations with people to say, I don't like this. This is how this makes me feel. This is what you're doing is making, you know what I mean? And because we can't just say, oh, they toxic. And they don't even know they toxic. Like, you haven't even told them what shit is toxic. Let me read some comments. Ross says, I've been in a relationship where I completely lost myself because the relationship was toxic and it caused me to be really depressed. One Scorpio Chica says, me too, Ross. And then everybody, so we've all been there, right? We've all been there, like you said, where for whatever reason, we just now are like accepting the toxicity, right? We're starting to think maybe it's fucking me, right? Because when you were in those relationships, didn't you have moments where you were like, well, maybe it's me?
Well, here's the thing. I was in a relationship when this was years and years, like when I was back in Chicago, when I was younger, I was like maybe 26, 27 years old. I was living in Chicago and I had met somebody. And see, so my thing is this, like, I have these moments in my life where I want to do something different. I want to be different or what have you. So, you know, back in Chicago, I was a different person. I was experiencing different things in life. I was going through different things in life. So I had met somebody when I was in Chicago, and she was I think she was a little bit younger than me. And then what happens is when you go through other bad relationships, right? You go through other bad relationships. I had a lot of bad relationships before meeting this one particular lady. So it was like, I was like, well, all right, I'm going to be different this time. Like the stuff that I went through with these people, I'm not going to have that shit in this relationship. So I brought a lot of, I brought a lot of toxic, and when, you know what I'm saying, it's like when you reflect back, it's like I brought a lot of toxic energy to that relationship. And I realized then, I mean, at the time I didn't realize it, but now looking back 20 fucking years ago, like I was, oh my God, like I was mean, I was controlling, I was possessive, very possessive. So it's kind of funny because I got to thinking, like one of the last shows we talked about, you know, I was like, yeah, I ain't never been with nobody had me jumping out no bushes and all this and all. Remember I said that? I was like, I remember you said that. Yes. I was like, I ain't never jump out no bush or no motherfucker. Obviously, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Then I got to thinking, I was like, wait a minute. Wait, that's not exactly true. Because in fact, not only did I jump out the fucking bush, I had been in the motherfucking bush for about 4 fucking hours.
So you was just crazy.
Oh my God. Like real shit. Like I'm not even joking. Like,
you probably scarred that woman for life.
Listen, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. I think I sat in the bush for like 4 fucking hours. I was in the bush for 4 hours, like waiting for this motherfucker to come home. Like, listen, because I remember I kept calling her phone. She wasn't answering the phone. And then one time she did answer the phone, I heard all this noise in the background. I'm like, nigga, where you is? Like, what the fuck you doing? And she didn't want to answer me and shit. So I'm like, oh, that's what we doing. So I went to my go-to. My go-to is, oh, you got to come home, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck what you doing. You got to come home. You know what I'm saying? So I remember I drove to her house. I parked my car down the street, around the corner, in the alley, in between the trash can, covered it up with a tarp. Yeah, I did all that. No, I wasn't crazy.
Oh, you was crazy.
I wasn't crazy, nigga. I wasn't crazy. Hey, don't judge me. Don't look at me with judgy eyes. But yeah, I remember. So I sat outside her house, and I really was in the bushes waiting, and I kept waiting. And the longer it took her to come home, the madder I got. And then finally, when I saw her get out the cab and she was walking up the street, she was like looking around. And as soon as she got on her porch, I yelled her name. Yeah. Don't put that key in the door. Don't do that. Let's go. Bring that ass. Stop playing. So yeah, I was toxic as fuck. I remember that. Yeah. Pretty bad.
You know, it's funny because
anyway,
Brian said he was laying at the time we had that show, and he said, I was laying in the middle of the night, and I just woke up, and I was thinking, oh, wait, I did get random nudes before.
Yeah.
So he had to tell you a story about this random news.
Yeah. So we have these shows, and then it's like I'll say something, but then after the show, I'll sit there and be thinking, I'm like, no, that's not exactly true. I was like, yeah, I have been that guy. I was that guy. It was bad.
But we're glad that you came back and told us, and we're glad that you have evolved from that guy.
Yeah, I have. So, but the thing about it is, though, it's funny because it went from being that guy, being possessive, being controlling, to like the new guy. So the new guy is like, so I don't so honestly sometimes I don't know which is worse, like which is more toxic. And so before, like I said, I was controlling, I was angry, I was like possessive, like I was like where you at? Where you going? And it was one time, no shit, she was like, I'm at the hair salon. I'm like, I know, I'm sitting in the hair salon right now. I'm in the bathroom. I'm waiting. I'm already here, type of shit. So I know that probably made her feel like, nigga, I can't, like I was like, wherever she was, I was like this.
Crazy. So what did you move from that to, like, you just act like you don't care?
So then I moved away from that because I felt like I started to feel myself being crazy. You get what I'm saying? So then I moved from that shit to where I am now, and now I'm like Mr. Nonchalant. Like I don't give a fuck. I don't care about shit. Where you at? I don't care. Where you going? Wherever. I don't. Hey, I'm going here. Okay, bye. Get the fuck on. So now I've just traded in one thing for another, and I probably think sometimes that could probably be just as toxic. Sometimes it gives off the impression like I just don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Which is not. So it's not that I don't give a shit, but for me, I know the alternative sometimes. It's like I can be this or I can be that. And you probably would much rather me be this than to be that. So I don't know. You got any more comments? Anybody say anything?
Okay, so Nitra says communication is key in all relationships. One Scorpio Chica says, so you're right, Ebony. Perception is key, and that's why you've got to check in with folks to make sure they're make sure you're hearing what they're saying. Nitra says, what became of that relationship? How did that relationship end?
We broke the fuck up. Is what happened.
So, did you just because you sound, if you were that way, it sounds like she couldn't just say to you, I don't want to be with you anymore, and you just said, okay. So were you the one that ended it, or how did it?
So what happened was, like I said, she was younger. She was younger than me. She was much younger than me, as a matter of fact. So it was just one of those things that she ended up ending it because she ended up moving away. So like when we were together, like literally, it was one of the situations like if you saw her, you saw me, you saw me, you saw her. Like we were around each other every fucking day. Like I mean, every day. When she was at school, nigga, I'm at school. When she was fucking in the store, nigga, I'm in aisle 3 by the ice cream, nigga. Like what? Where you? Like we were just like that. Like we was, yeah, we was like everywhere. Like yeah, we was like together all the fucking time, all the time. She was either always at my house or whatever like that. But then we was going through a lot of shit.
Every time she wasn't with you, you acted like a crazy person.
Yeah, like it not okay. So she went somewhere and she did something. I'm like, okay, cool. But like if I called to do a check-in and she didn't get back to me, that's when the cuckoo birds were like, nigga, we got the yeah. when she, hey nigga, like when she, it'd be like, I'd be like, sometimes, you know, it's funny though, because like when you get angry about something, like time for whatever reason moves a lot slower than when you're not. So for instance, if you call somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like listen, like if you call somebody and they don't answer the phone, you be walking, you what the fuck this motherfucker, and then you look at your, oh shit, it's only been a minute. Oh wait, let me give her a little bit more time. It's only been 1 minute. But in that 1 minute, it seemed like it was like 4.
It felt like 10 minutes.
Yeah, like, but it's only been like literally 1 minute. Like, oh shit, maybe I don't know, maybe she's in the bathroom or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? So we like it was like we went through a lot of that like a lot of stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like where like she had like an ex. You know what I'm saying? It's like she had like this ex-boyfriend and shit. And then like every time I saw that nigga, like every time he came around, I'd be looking at that nigga like, fuck you won't, nigga. Like, don't play, nigga, because you can't get this one back, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So, but then eventually she ended up moving away. And when she moved and got away from me, we just, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because she was like in a whole nother state and I couldn't just
you probably pushed that woman to move out the entire damn state because you was crazy as hell.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna say out. No, she had to go to school.
Yeah, I bet.
She had to go to school.
She chose the school that was away from your ass.
You know, don't do that.
One Scorpio Chica says, I had a guy like how Paul is describing. He once pulled a gun on me. I dealt with that for 2 years. I was a wreck after him. That's what I'm telling that girl had to go to therapy after you. Like she was really like fucked up after you.
I mean, I hope she didn't go to therapy, but probably how she probably approached relationships after me
was very different. Yeah,
was probably different because like I said, I'm pretty sure I was like 26, 27. I think she was probably like 21, 20. She was young. She was a lot younger than me. So a lot of things that she dealt with were like first for her. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with me. You know what I'm saying? I was a much older dude. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. So I don't really think that she had been. I'm pretty sure she hadn't been in a relationship with a guy as old as I was at the time, who like I was, like looking back, I'm like I was an asshole. Like I really was an asshole. Like an asshole. Like a bad one.
Sneezy says being over possessive and having a nonchalant attitude can both be harmful. Both can make someone you care about walk away and can be traumatic for future relationships.
Yeah, I like I said, sometimes I've traded in one dynamic situation.
So you feel like you're an extremist? Are you an extremist? Like it's all the way here, it's all the way there. You don't really know how to find the middle.
Usually, most things with me, it's hard for me to find the middle. Either I'm all the way over here or I'm all the way on this side. I don't know. The middle part is it's one of those things. Either I fuck with you or I don't. You know what I'm saying? Either we here, we gonna be all the way good, or we not gonna be good. Like that middle shit don't work, and then eventually I'm gonna choose a side, and it's either the pendulum may swing either fucking way, and I'm not. You know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely now. I just felt like being angry like that just wasn't. It just wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? So I traded in one thing for another. So I was never toxic to the point where, like, I never put my hands on her or nothing like that. But I'm quite sure, as angry as I was back then, You know what I'm saying? I think she may have thought I was going to or whatever like that type of shit, but like I never put my hands on her.
So you were you were emotionally abusive to her.
Probably, yeah, more so.
Or mentally.
Because I was real possessive. I was like, where you going? Why are you going there? It's okay, because you know what? I'm coming too.
So now,
it's not.
So now you've chosen to be nonchalant, right? So what happens when you really do care? Because you can only fake nonchalant for so long. So what happens when you really do care?
And that's always a tough one, because the same way I'm describing this situation right now, where I was very toxic to her, I end up thinking about, I guess the toxic relationships that I've been in and the pain that people have caused me. So then it's like I end up being nonchalant because I don't know. I've been there. So I know how it feels when somebody breaks your heart completely. Like, you just feel lost, you feel empty, you feel like, what the fuck? I'm not going, you fall into this pit of, I don't know what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's, because even when her and I had broke up, that's kind of like where the fuck I was, because we had been together for such a long time. And to go from seeing somebody every single day, and good, bad, or indifferent, just being around that person every day, to like, all right, now I'm in a whole nother state. It's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this shit now? You know what I'm saying? So then you try to find somebody else, but then that person really doesn't feel the void of that person that you lost, that you was in this relationship with. Then it's like, I don't want to do it. So fast forward, like I said, like 20 years later, like now I'm Mr. Nonchalant about a lot of shit. So when I find someone that I do like or whatever, or then it's like I'm in a situation where like, I don't know, because then I don't know what to do, because I don't know, because I don't feel like I don't want to get too close, but I want to get just close enough, but not just too close. So if I get close,
you're always in protection mode. You're always trying to protect your heart. You're always trying to protect your emotions. But I mean, how are you gonna ever find real love if you always have this shell?
Man, listen.
This shell of protection around your heart.
Listen, you know what? And that's like, Nick, that's the $1 million fucking question. I don't know, because I'm always, it's a lot of times, it's like I'm always like the old saying say, I got one foot in and one foot out, because I'm like, I don't know. Hey, oh. What's up, man?
It's cold outside. Don't mind my mask. It's cold.
My son, he opened the door and said, "Can I come in?" I said, "For what?" "I just want to."
I just want to say hey to live. Hi, everybody doing tonight?
Hi, how you doing?
Okay, so Sneezy says, I'm sorry, not Sneezy. Nitra says emotional abuse is the worst. It really is, because it's almost like when you were younger, and it was like, I'd rather just take the ass whooping than, you know what I mean, the punishment or whatever. So at least with physical abuse, once they smack you, it's done and over. But emotional abuse is the type of thing that eats away at you, at the core of who you are, makes you start questioning everything about you. Am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I fat enough? Like it's all of these, and that doesn't just go away because you broke up, right? If a guy is just hitting you, there is some emotional abuse with that, but the physical part of it, when y'all not together, it's done, right? But the emotional shit, that shit stays with you. And like I said, believe it or not, you end up on somebody's therapist couch because you got to deal with that emotional shit, the shit that it did to you emotionally. Now, you know what I mean? Now she might have left that relationship like, I'm not fucking with nobody, because if niggas, is this how niggas act? I want to be alone. You know what I mean? And so it's just, she might have all these different, or like, so with my first marriage, when I left that marriage, like you said, when I left that relationship, there were certain things that I had just decided, right? I had just decided, no man's ever going to do this to me, and I'm not going to allow this, and I'm going to always be independent. And that honestly probably was the demise of my next relationship, because I was so focused on, I'm never going to do this again. I'm never going to do that again. I'm always going to be independent. And I'm never, that I could not fully be there for that relationship. And I'll never forget, he looked at me, he would say to me all the time, I'm not your ex-husband. And I would always be like, why are you saying that? I'm not comparing you. But when I sat on that therapist's couch, I realized that it was some shit I hadn't dealt with.
Right.
Nitra says you need to work on balance. One Scorpio Chica says, I won't lie. I've been toxic to someone in a relationship. Thank God for maturity. I know he thinks I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He's your twin. Sneezy says, when I'm in a toxic relationship, I had to do a lot of soul searching, praying and asking God to harden my heart, not to harden my heart. Went to therapy and wrote in my journal, which wasn't nice at all. Took time to get back to a good place. Like it really does, again, because it makes you question everything about you, right? And at the end of the day, love is a risk. It's always a risk. And it's always a risk. Right. So if you are ever going to be open to love again, you got to deal with some shit, because you're going to have to risk being hurt again. You're going to have to risk being lied to, right? You're going to have to risk those things, but sometimes the reward is so much greater than the risk. But you'll never know the reward because you won't take the risk.
Listen. I mean, if there was a couch, I'd lay down right now because I'm on the couch right now. Like, I get it. I hear what you're saying, and sometimes, you know, like, it's always easier said than done. It's easy. It's always easy to say that, but in reality, that shit is hard. That shit is hard. So it's just like,
of course. When I met Brian, I had literally just decided I'm single for life, like, right? And not just that, you know how women be like, I'm single, but they always think I'm lonely. I wish I had somebody to lay with. Like, I really had got to a place where, like, I'm good, right? You know what I mean? I'm living my best life. I'm doing me. I don't answer to nobody. You know what? I had just decided I'm just never going to get married again. I'm just never going to be in love again, but I'm going to enjoy life.
Right.
So honestly, Brian had to jump some hurdles for me to come from that place. Cause I just was like, yeah, no, you know, you cool, but I'm about to go out with Tony. Like, I was always honest with him, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm about to do this thing with Tony, or I'm gonna be doing, like, it just was a place. And then one day I had to really look at myself and say, what's really going on here?
Right.
You have to take, and don't get me wrong, when you decide to take the risk, you're still gonna be like, did I make the right choice? Fuck. Like, I love Brian. Y'all know I love Brian. But there are still days that I'm like, did I do the right thing? Like, what? I should have, maybe I shouldn't have, like, you know what I mean? Because shit gets hard, right? Because not only do you have to take a risk, but love ain't always easy. I never understood what Tina Turner meant by that song, What's Love Got to Do With It? Till I was like 40 fucking years old, right? I just didn't understand the real meaning of what's love got to do with it. Because I was just like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. If you love someone, it has everything to do with it. But no, that's not necessarily true. Shit ain't always easy. It's not always roses and daisies. It's not gonna always feel like, you know, the first month, a year that you was with them, everything was lovely. Like, it's just not how it works. So you have to, like, really dig in. When you really dig in, you're almost 50 years old. Do you want do you want to die alone?
No, I'm not. I don't want to die alone. But, you know, the way, I guess, sometimes the way that I've set my life up, I don't want to die alone, but I'm not afraid to die alone, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? I know for me, like, again, growing up as an only child, you know, as an only child, you know, I didn't have anyone to, a lot of times, to talk to. I didn't have anyone to really entertain me. So I always just entertained myself majority of the time. So I never really had, so it was never really an issue or a problem with me just being by myself. You get what I'm saying? So it was always cool for me just to be by myself. I did it so much. So even as an adult, I'm cool with just being by myself. Like, I can sit in a room all by myself with my phone, with my TV, and I'm cool. Like, I don't sometimes always have this overwhelming need, I guess, to have any one person around me. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's probably childhood, but then it's also the fear of getting close to any one person and allowing that person to end up hurting me. So it's like, well, if I just kind of like stay over here and be me and do me, then I never have to really engage in those feelings again to allow myself to be open enough to be hurt by any one person. So yeah, so that's what I'm dealing with, learning to try to get better at and shit like that. So,
Nitra says being in toxic relationships will make you lose yourself, but sometimes you're so in love that you stay in a bad situation. Sometimes because you want better for the toxic person. It's difficult. It is difficult. I mean, I have always lived by the mantra, people only treat you the way you allow them to treat you, right? So, for me, it is definitely something that I make a conscious effort to work on. But even like my friends, like not even romantic, just my friends. My friends know that like my cutoff game is strong, right? So none of my friends can ever like pull that I'm not talking to you because I'm mad. Because I'm gonna be like, all right, like, you know what I mean? Like I just have at this age and stage that I'm at, I, of course, I used to be the person that would be so worried and upset. And it's not to say that my feelings wouldn't be hurt, right? It's not to say that I wouldn't be like, I can't believe this happened. But what you'll never know is you'll never know that I'm that bothered by it. Like, I don't know if Mama B is still on here. So when me and Mama B first became friends, she would have these periods or whatever where something else in her life would be going on. And then she would then turn around and make it seem like it was an issue with me. So the first time or two that she did it, I was like, well, what happened? Well, why are you saying this? By that third time, it was a thumbs up. Like when I got the text message, it was just like, all right, it was a thumbs up, right? And she said to me, she was like, I quickly realized that if we weren't going to ever talk again, it was going to be because I had to initiate. So, right? So, he gets off at 9:30, but he'll probably call me and let me know when he's ready. Text me and let me know when he's ready. So sorry guys. So I had really like I work on not cutting people off, right? Because like you said, I'm the same way as you. Like as soon as I see some shit, like especially like in dating, on the first date or two, first one or two conversations, you say some shit that I don't like I'm not going to explain it to you. I'm not going to go through no whole lot of changes. I'm going to just be like, yeah, no. You know what I mean? But what I realized was you ain't gonna never be with nobody if that's how you act, because I'm telling you immediately, I'd be like, and so my friends know it. Even my friends know to this day, like, okay, you can act like that with her, but don't expect her to be the one that's chasing you down trying to fix this.
Right.
Because I just realized that people only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. So in 2022, you know what I mean? What we have to learn to do is we have to learn to set personal boundaries. It doesn't mean that my heart isn't open. It doesn't mean that I don't want to build something with you, but it does mean that these are my boundaries. And when you cross those boundaries, I don't have to keep going back and forth with you. You knew what those boundaries, that's different if they didn't know. But if I let you know these are my boundaries and you make a decision to not respect my boundaries, this isn't going to work. No matter what relationship it is, family, friend, lover, you didn't respect my boundaries. This isn't going to work.
Right. So
they said, one Scorpio said she had got so crazy she was doing drive-bys, acting all types of crazy. Ross said, "Oh, cause I ain't never been crazy like that for a dude."
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things for me. Like I typically, again, that situation. Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was bad.
I've never been crazy like first people say, and I think I have a really friendly face. Like I'm like, what? But people say that I have like resting bitch face, and people say that like people just kind of know like you probably don't want to fuck with her. So I just have honestly, like most women have never been a real threat to me, I guess, when it comes to like my man, because I'm not about to play with you. Like so I've never been that crazy over a dude.
Yeah, I mean, now like I'm not like that now. But like I said, back
Yeah,
then,
but you're still putting
I
tracking
didn't.
devices on their phones and cars and shit, I hear.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about that. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing about that. That's not something that I do often. That's something that I do often. You know what I'm saying? One
But
particular
what warrants you? What warrants you deciding I'm gonna have to track this bitch? Like what? What warrants that now?
Okay, so if someone tells me, okay, in this one particular situation, um, uh, one particular situation, I ain't gonna use no names and shit like that. But you guys can figure out. But it was a situation where I know one thing, or you're telling me one thing, but I know differently. You know what I'm saying? And you're trying to make me think I'm fucking crazy. I know that I'm not crazy. I know that I'm not crazy. So, I had to do a little extra research on some things. And then when I did it, it's like you're still telling me, oh no, I'm not, and I'm here and I'm this, and I'm like, are you? Because according to this, you're right here. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? That type of situation. So that's kind of like more
But
of a
why? But
of
why?
a
But why
situation.
go through those extra changes when you already know the truth? Why can't you just be like, I know what the fucking truth is, and I'm
Mhm.
done with this situation? Why do you have to prove your point? Like, why do you have to go a step above just to prove to them that you know what you already know?
Um, in that situation, it was a little. I mean, it was just one of them things that it was that situation. So it was like I had to be like, yeah. So you can read between the lines on that one. You can read between the
Okay,
lines on that one. So
Nitra says, I agree, Ebony. Boundaries have to be set for your own sanity to protect your heart and feelings. Once they've been crossed, you have to cut people off no matter how much it hurts. Now, I promise you, it's been times that I've been all broken up and hurt inside. But guess what? I'm not doing. I'm not doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Because what I do know is that this hurt or whatever, I will get over it. I will be fine. But if I continue to allow you to treat me a certain way and to disrespect my boundaries, that's going to hurt far worse in the long run.
mm,
I'm also a real communicative person, right? So there's really never any questions. I mean, you know me, Paul. There's really never any questions about where I am, how I feel, what I want, how I want it. Because if we're going to talk about it, like you know what I mean. I'm very much the type of person that's just going to tell you this is where I am, this is what I'm feeling, and then I'm going to give you the opportunity to respond, and then I'm going to make some decisions about what I need to do based upon our conversation.
yeah. See, and sometimes I think I'm definitely the opposite of that. I don't like I'm not good at like talking about my feelings. I'm not really good about like it's like for instance, I can come on the air, like I can come on the show and I can air my business, I can talk, you know what I'm saying? Because, a lot of people, whoever tunes in, some people I know, some people I don't know. So it's just easier for me to talk on an open platform like this because I'm just, then but in a personal situation, like I don't really talk too much about my feelings. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of I don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing.
Well, see,
And
ironically, I don't talk about my hurt feelings. I will, I
yeah, I
will,
don't.
I will say that. I will say that that is something that I'm working on. I don't talk about when I'm hurt, right? I can tell you when I'm angry, when I'm pissed off, when I don't like something. You know what I mean? I can tell you like if I feel like something needs to change. But if you just say something that hurt my feelings, I am very much the person that kind of just shuts down, right? And you'll be like, "What's wrong?" And I'll be like, "I'm good." You know what I mean?
I'm good.
Right. And you'll be
Yeah.
like, no, I know something's wrong. And I'll just be like, no, I'm good. It's no big deal. You know what I mean? Because it is hard for me to be vulnerable in that sense, where I'm now telling somebody you have hurt me.
Right.
That's still a
Get it.
struggle for me.
Yeah, definitely a struggle for me. Like I'm just like I'm good. I don't want to talk about it. And then usually, depending upon what someone has done or said to me, will probably lead into me being more distant. Me, yeah, me being more distant. Me definitely pulling away to the point where you're almost non-existent to me because you've done something to hurt me or you've done something to like pissed me off, or you've done something to really, really cross the line, and then I'm like, nah, I'm good, because yeah. So I
don't
be
have a
out of
problem telling people that they piss me off. I don't have a problem telling people they piss me off. I don't have a problem telling people they cross the line. But I do have a problem just discussing my hurt, right? So if I was to now here's the thing, it also depends on who the person is. Like, is it somebody that I feel is valuable to me in my life? I don't want to end the relationship. I'm just letting them know, like, you fucked up. That's going to be a different thing. But if it's somebody who I haven't even let that get that close to me just yet, but you already did some shit, then like you said, I'll just pull away. So, I've said many times on the show that, like, we're polyamorous. And so I had this guy friend, and I liked him. I liked him a lot. You know what I mean? But he was very inconsistent. And so it had been 1, 2, 3 times that he was like, I'm going to be in town. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And he didn't. So finally, but I think I was able to talk about it, because at that point I was more pissed than I was hurt. Right. So I just was like, this isn't going to work for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do it. Nitra says, there are so many adults who aren't able to express their feelings and communicate. I'm grown. There is no guessing when it comes to my feelings. I'm very expressive and in a mature way. First Class Boxer says, Pop, I know you on the radio. Just a heads up, I'm in the gym.
All right. Thank you, son, because, yeah, I'd have walked out of the studio and I've been on your ass. Thank you. Appreciate you. My man.
So yeah, I mean, I do agree with Nitra. I do think that there are so many people who just can't communicate. Like, why can we not? And you've said that to me before. Like, you've said to me, well, you're a good communicator. We know you communicate. And I'm like, what does that mean? Don't we all communicate? Like, why is that a thing? But apparently that's a thing.
It's not a thing, because I mean, you're a very talkative, expressive person when it comes to things. And then some people are just a little, like myself, again, I'm a little bit more closed off when it comes to certain things. Like, I don't mind talking, but sometimes, I don't know, like, again, when you go through so much stuff, sometimes, like, I almost feel like, what's the point in talking, especially when you talk and you're going to end up, I feel, not saying it would, but I sometimes feel it'll just be the same result. So what's the fucking point in talking about it? Well, I don't like talking about the same shit over and over again. Like, if we're gonna talk about it, like, I don't want to keep talking about the same shit. If Phil's gonna talk about the same shit, then I don't want to talk at all. So yeah, yeah. So
now, I get that. I don't like repeating myself. I do get that, right? So if I tell you in a conversation, it really hurts me when you act like you don't care about what's going on with us. And then you continue to do that. I'm probably not going to continue to have that conversation. Right? The next time we have it, it's going to be because I'm pissed. And you're going to be like, what's wrong? I told you before, I don't fucking like when you act like you don't care. You know what I mean? And then by the third time, I don't want to do this anymore. You're like, what do you mean? Right. Why do you want to do it anymore? Because I've told you twice already, I don't fucking like this. You continue to do it. I'm finished with this. Like, that's really the kind of person that I am. Sneezy says, it is a blessing to be able to speak your truth, the good, bad, the ugly, and the hurt. It takes time to get there. I think it takes a comfortability within yourself, right? That's what I think it takes. Like, the more and more comfortable I get with who I am, and the more and more I love me, the easier it becomes for me to speak my truth, no matter what that truth is. But I think the thing that stops people from speaking their truth is the worry or concern about how someone else is going to handle it, how someone else is going to feel, what someone else is going to think. And that supersedes your own thoughts, feelings, and belief about yourself. One Scorpio Chica says, I used to be very good at expressing my hurt, but I've been disregarded so many times, and now I just withdraw and shut down my hurt until... Sneezy says, you talk to come up with resolution or solution. I believe, or Nitra said that, I'm sorry. Sneezy says, I believe the way people communicate or lack thereof all stems from childhood. I agree. Yeah. Especially if you grew up in a family where, especially as Black folks, like, children are to be seen and not heard. You aren't really, and again, I think I said this on another show that, like, each generation learns something better and something different. So that's why you see sometimes we see stuff and we be like, man, when I was young, I could have never said that to my mother. I could have never got away with that, right? Because now, like, each generation is like, well, I want to raise my kids to be able to speak their truth. And, you know, we're all trying to get to a better place. But I think a lot of it does come from childhood where you were taught, you know what I mean? You don't say that. You don't speak that. You just, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I have that kind of relationship with my kids, right? I've kind of always taught my kids that they can talk to me about anything. I didn't have that growing up. Never in my life did I feel like I could talk to my mom about anything, right? Until I was grown. Like, once I was grown, my mom started to change a little bit and we talked more. But as, you know, a child, a teenager or whatever, never did I feel like I can go to my mom and talk to her about anything. So I always knew I wanted my kids to be able to do that with me.
And then I also found that, like, so for me, I don't accept, like I said, like, I don't have anyone. Well, I guess I do, but sometimes you'll find yourself you'll find yourself in a situation where, say you want to communicate something, or the person or the only person, like, I don't have an outlet, so. Except like me and Brian, we talk, but we don't talk all the time sometimes. He be having shit going on, I be having shit. So sometimes, like, you don't have that outlet. So when I am feeling a certain way, you don't have an outlet to put it off on your friend. So you and your friend can talk it out and that type of thing or whatever. So then sometimes the person that you end up wanting to talk about is the person that you might be having a conflict with or whatever. So sometimes people be like, well, you can talk to me about anything. You know I'm here. I can talk to you. But then how do you sometimes end up talking to that person when the very issue might be with that person? So how do you then talk to that person about it? You get what I'm saying?
Well,
so then it's like, because then you start.
What I was having with Brian, right? Because basically, I talk to Brian about anything and everything. But like you said, I can't talk to Brian when you're the one fucking getting on my nerves, right?
How do you talk to that person? Like, how do you say? Yeah.
And he was
so
like,
how do you do that?
I can separate Brian, the husband, from Brian, the friend. I still don't believe that shit, and I'm not doing it.
Yeah, so sometimes you can't do that. Now, I also feel that toxic relationship doesn't necessarily always have to be violent or angry. You know, it doesn't always have to be, you know, because I don't want to paint the narrative that, okay, well, unless a person is stalking you or unless a person is jumping out the bush, then you're not in a toxic relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because there are other ways to be toxic, even if a person is not being, you know, jumping out of the bushes on you and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, you know, then it's that there are those passive aggressives, right? The passive aggressives are those ones that aren't yelling. They aren't necessarily, you know what I mean? But they always got some sarcastic shit to say, right? Oh, you got that little radio show, good for you. That shit is toxic, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then when you say something to them, they'll be like, well, I said good for you. Yeah, but it's just the way you said it. Like, you know what I mean? So
the way you said it.
Right.
The way you said it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the way you said it. Yeah, I get that. So.
And then it's hard. Like, so here's the thing. What I am to everyone around me, even complete strangers, I think some of it is just because I'm a Capricorn, because I talk to a lot of Capricorns. They say they have the same issue, right? My girlfriends used to say that I have a bartender spirit. So literally, strangers will get on the elevator with me or be walking by me and want to pour their lives out to me, right? And so what I am is I have always been I'm just super non-judgmental, right? I just feel like people, I just let everybody be great. So because I'm so non-judgmental, everybody's like, I want to talk to you. I want to tell you what's going on. I know you'll listen. I know you'll. But what happens then is that now I'm empty, right? Because if everybody needs to talk to me, who the fuck am I talking to?
Who do you talk to? Right. I get it. I get that. So we got to tune in.
One Scorpio Chica says, oh, I had a friend. Woo! She could say the most hurtful stuff ever. Backhanded compliments, right? It's like you're trying to make it seem like you're saying something positive and nice, but really, after you walk away, you're like, what, did they just? I think what they was really saying, that type of thing, yeah.
Right.
Somebody, oh well, it's about time, you know, you got a job and you only been not working for 9 months. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like,
right, yeah, I get that.
So yeah, there are a lot of levels to toxicity. But I think
definitely.
like the main thing that I would want to say is that toxicity is not just romantic relationships. That it is okay, and you can put boundaries up for people in your family.
Yeah. I don't even talk, like I said, I don't even talk to my family. Like that's like, you know what I mean? It's like I don't even talk to my family. So
well, the other thing for me is I only have one family member that I don't talk to. But the rest of my family, for me, I think I have just gotten to the place where I understand them for who they are. So what that means is that I have my expectations for them are based upon who they've shown me to be. It didn't mean that I had to end the relationship, or when I see them, I don't speak to them, or when we get together, we don't have a good time. It just means that these are the expectations I have for this family member. So this family member doesn't get to know any of my personal business, right? This family member is very surface. It's very like, hey, girl, we having Thanksgiving dinner. How the kids? They good. Nothing more, nothing less. You know what I'm saying? Because like I have an aunt, right? I have an aunt. She's so judgmental, right? She thinks that she knows everything about everybody and how everybody's doing it wrong. Meanwhile, her house is a shit show. We all know our house is a shit show, but she's the type of aunt that doesn't tell anybody what's going on in her house. Instead, she calls and tells everybody else what's going on in yours. So she thinks that her shit don't stink and we don't know about it, but my family also talks, right? So one thing I know, I've got one aunt that I can talk to that I know she won't call nobody else and tell them what happened. Everybody else I know that if I call them and tell them my son got locked up, I know they're going to tell other people in the family. Maybe not even maliciously, just, yeah, girl, you know that my son got locked up. And that might not be something I want everybody to know, right? So my aunt is that person. My aunt is that person. She'll call, because she don't have no rules for him, and she don't have no this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, the children in her house are disrespecting her. They got locked up. They're doing this, they're doing that. We're all supposed to pretend like we don't know that. It's fine. I don't treat her any different. I just know that I have to handle her in this way. I have a brother. Once he got married, we were like this. But once he got married, his wife she runs the whole show, right? So I'm in a situation where me and my kids are homeless, basically. And his wife, and I know it was his wife because I know how close we were, right? He didn't do anything to help. He didn't call. He didn't check on us or whatever. For a while, I was bitter and I was angry. Now it's just like, you know what? It is what it is. So when he calls to say, hey, sis, happy birthday, I say, hey, thank you, happy new year. And I keep it pushing. Nothing more and nothing less. I'm not angry anymore. I accept you for who you are and where you are in life. And I'm not allowing anything, to bother me or upset me. When we talk, we talk. When we don't, we don't.
So while we're on this subject of whatever, what I'm saying, I see some of the comments, and I know you've been reading some of the comments, but let's talk a little bit about now, like when you find yourself in a toxic relationship, or the ones that you have been in, like what did you do to get out of that relationship, or how did you, or how had like what did you do to get out of it? And as an adult now, or whatever it was, how does that affect your current relationships and, and things moving forward and stuff like that? Also, I want to try something. I don't know if we're going to do it this show, but I think that the little box that we're in, I think other people can join in the box as well, correct?
I think so.
So we don't have to necessarily do it today, but something I do kind of want to start to do to try to get people a little bit more involved in the show. Like sometimes when we're talking about something, if you feel like you want to be heard or be seen or whatever, pop something in the little, pop the little button on the bottom. We'll put you in the box. Each person can have at least up to 5 minutes in the box. You can say what you got to say. That way you ain't got to type it. Jump back out the box give somebody else an
I
opportunity.
think we have to talk. I know when we start doing the live shows on the radio, I know they have people calling in. So we'll have to talk to DJ Rock and see how that works for our platform or
I'm sure there'll be like a number to the station.
Yeah, there is. I'm just wondering because we're on IG, like how we're going. We'll talk to him a little bit more about how we're integrating that into the live shows.
But I definitely think it'd be cool just to sometimes just to actually hear a person's perspective and viewpoint on something. And heck, you might want to unite. You might want to jump in the box and feel comfortable to speak and be heard. I mean, if you don't, there's no pressure, anything like that. But I mean, that's just something I was thinking about that would add a little spice to the show, because something that other people aren't doing. We can be a little innovative and stuff like that, things like that. So
I think somebody did say earlier, and I still stand behind it. I am such an advocate for people going to therapy. And I know, Paul, you kind of have a different take on it a little bit, but I'm such an advocate for people going to therapy. Because, listen, we all injured. We all on the injured reserve list. You should have some ice and some heat on that right now.
Dang, I am after this. Oh my God.
He injured his arm this week. We can't keep ourselves together. So. Yeah,
we'll talk about that in a minute, because it was like I almost died. Okay, let's just keep it. I'm gonna just keep it 100 and a buck with everybody. Like I almost died on what's the day? Today's Wednesday. So on Monday, I almost died. It was a bad situation. So I just fuck it. So what happened was this thing. So I got the truck, right, and so everybody, on every car, right, everybody's car, like there's a gear shift. So when your gear shift that slides up and down to put your car in park, neutral, reverse, and drive, there's a lever underneath your car, underneath your truck, that is a bracket here, there's a bracket here. They go together, and then they're able to move, and that's what basically puts your car in drive, reverse, whatever, right? So I was driving the Hummer, and I went to put it in park, but I felt that the truck was, I put it in park, so I took my foot off the brake, and the truck was still moving forward. So I'm like, oh my God. So when I went to put the gear, when I went to put it back, try to put it in drive, it wouldn't go in drive, so it was stuck in park. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I was like, fuck, what was wrong? I called my mechanic. He was telling me it was wrong. So I was like, okay, fine, cool. So then I was like, I got to fix it. So what I do was, the truck was still in drive. The truck was still running. I had to get underneath of my truck, and I couldn't find this little lever at first. I couldn't find where it was. I had them on the phone, had my flashlight on my phone, and I found it. So when I found it, I see the two pieces aren't connected. So the truck's in drive. I'm all the way under the truck, and I didn't realize how far under the truck that I was, but I was all the way under the truck. So I'm like, okay, I see it, and I was just excited to find a lever, because I'm like, okay, if I hit this lever and put the two pieces back together, I'll be able to put my truck in reverse, because at this point, my truck could only go forward. I couldn't put it in reverse, and where I was at, I couldn't make a U-turn. I couldn't do shit. I hit the lever, and when I hit the lever, I felt the truck move. But like in a certain situation, I felt it move, but I didn't really realize that it was in reverse, and my head and my body was under the truck, and the truck was rolling backwards with me underneath it. So by the time I realized that I was about to die, I looked up, and the tire was coming at my face. You probably can't see it, but it's like a bruise on my face, because my face was pent beneath the tire, and the concrete was about to run over my head. And then as I'm scooting out and I'm trying to get up from the truck, I see my phone. So I turn around, I'm reaching for my phone, right? Because I see it about to get run over by my truck. I reach for my phone. My fingers got ran over by the truck, by the tire. I snatched my hand out. I'm trying to stand up, and the whole truck hit my arm, and I almost died. So yeah, almost died. So I don't know if you guys have seen my truck. My truck is pretty goddamn big. It could have been a smaller car.
That phone was real important to you.
I didn't want to lose my phone. I didn't want to break my phone. So yeah.
So instead, you almost lost an arm. But I mean, as long as you had your phone.
Listen. I almost lost my arm and my face. Like seriously, though, like my face was like, it was bad. I almost died. Just want everybody to know, I almost died.
So when I talked to him on Monday, he just kept saying, and I'm like, what's going on, Paul?
Yeah.
And this guy I almost died. Doctor until today, FYI.
Yeah, I almost died, and I almost died. And
I was like, go to the ER. Something could be broke. He's like, no, I want to sit in the ER for all those hours.
Yeah, I almost died. Yeah, I did.
One Scorpio chicken said, Paul, we're going to have to check on you. Because he's always doing some shit, right? He's just always doing some shit.
Yeah.
But everybody's glad you're okay. Thank God you're okay, they're saying. Nietzsche said that truck is toxic.
It seems to be. My truck almost straight up and down. My truck almost killed me.
Is it a Hummer?
Yeah. It's a big Hummer. It's a big truck. And it almost died. And it had it not been like I had a guardian angel with me, and had it not been for my guardian angel, I'd have died. I'd have straight up died. My guardian angel grabbed my feet and pulled me from underneath the truck because I was about to die. Like literally, I'm not even joking. Like I felt it and I heard it move and I saw it move, but I'm thinking, I can still connect these two pieces. But then the thing started rolling. Oh my God. I was like, by the time I looked up, my face was on the concrete. The tire was coming from my head. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. I was died. But, I'm okay now.
He's not finished with you. He's not finished with you yet. You got some more shit to do.
Yeah, clearly. Sometimes I don't know what.
Everybody has said that, a lot of people have said therapy is very beneficial. I definitely think, because whether therapy works or not, one thing I know for certain is that therapy does get you to the point where you are talking about what's going on, and it helps you to come to some realizations that you might not have otherwise come to had you not sat on the therapist's couch. I do recommend that you find the therapist that's right for you. Like, just because their title is therapist doesn't mean that every therapist is for you. I personally, I have had to, since Brian and I have gone down this poly journey, right? My therapist now needs to be poly because I want them to understand what we're talking about or what I'm talking about more than me trying to explain it to them, if that makes sense, right? So welcome, Quentin. One Scorpio says, welcome, Quentin. This is such a great show. So thank you, One Scorpio. So I just think because life is so busy, right? Life is busy for everybody, right? Shit is happening for every fucking body, right? Nobody is walking around feeling like they're on a bed of roses in this day and age, right? Now, I don't even feel like people who are rich and famous, like everybody has some shit. Because life is that way, we often have to like remind ourselves that like, I got to deal with me, right? So I told y'all before, I've been really working on, I've never really meditated before, right? Because I was like, well, what is meditation, right? First of all, it's fucking amazing, right? So like when you meditate, like you literally feel like you're like floating and shit, like when you get it done right. And so I'm like, I'm meditating, damn it. So like every day, I took 21-day challenge. Deepak Chopra has a 21-day challenge to meditate every day. It's like 10 minutes. It's not even that long. So it's just taking some time out for you. The more time that you take out for you, the more you will start to put you in a place of importance. Because I think so many of us don't put ourselves in a place of importance. We put everything, everybody, work, the husband, the kids, you know what I mean? We put everybody in front of us so that by the time it's time to try to give ourselves some love and some self-care, we tired. I'm asleep. You know what I mean? So I think therapy, I think some time for self-care, whether it's meditation, whether it's prayer, whether it's a hot bath, everybody should take some time. Paul, do you do self-care daily?
Well, because I was, well, I say the last couple of weeks I have been because, you know what I'm saying, I had COVID, you know what I'm saying? So, and no, seriously, because you know what I'm saying, if you know me, like I'm
Yeah,
a
I know you.
workaholic. Like I'm a
I've enjoyed
workaholic.
this
Like
time that I've had with you while you were in COVID.
yeah, I'm a workaholic, and I'm obsessed, like almost obsessed with working. Like I never stop, I never slow down. Like I'm always on the go. Like even if I'm in pain or whatever, I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep grinding. And it's funny, even earlier in the year when I had the cancer situation, you know what I'm saying, and then like even right after that, I caught COVID the first time. So it's almost like the world, the universe, or whatever is trying to
Make
give
you
me
slow
my
down.
moments to slow down. Like one way or the other, like nigga, you're gonna sit your ass down and you're gonna slow down. So the last couple weeks, like I ain't, I before like the earlier shows, like yeah, I was getting up like as soon as the show, I'm going to work. After the show, going to work. Now, like I've been going to my night job, but I ain't like since I've had COVID, I haven't been in. You know what I'm saying? Um, like I've gone in and done some paperwork type some shit or whatever. Or my team, they'll call, they're like, boss, what we doing? Like we ain't making no money. Like nigga, I know I'm not making no money either. But right now, it's like I've been being me. Like I've been, just doing me and just trying to relax and get my head together and shit like that. So
And haven't you
that's my
seen the
thing.
difference? Do you feel the difference?
I feel a difference where as though I'm lazy as fuck. I feel that.
But why? But
I
why is it lazy? Why we're supposed to rest? Listen, in the Bible,
know, but
even God had a day of rest. We're supposed to rest. Like why have
yeah,
we bought into this mentality that we're not ever supposed to rest? We're just supposed to always be on the grind. We're supposed to be always chasing the bag. Why?
man, because I feel like because for me and how certain things are set up for me is like if you don't work, if you don't grind, if you don't keep busy, if you don't keep moving, yeah, something gonna be fucking cut off, and I don't want shit cut off. So you gotta motherfucker, and then you gotta, and it's like, and then it's also like when you tell yourself that you want to be at a certain level in your life, um, you try to hold yourself somewhat accountable for that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I said I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna reach this goal. I'm gonna have this platform where I want to like this personal goal that I want to be. So then you push yourself to get there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and like any rich person that I've talked to, like any rich person that I've talked to, well, not even gonna say rich, wealthy, because a lot of people are rich. Any wealthy person that I've talked to, it's like one of the first things that they've always told me, like, you have to work even when you don't want to. When everybody's just resting, when everybody's sleeping, you know what I'm saying? You have to work. Like, and so I listen to these things and I'm like, well, like I want to get there. Like I want to be there one
Yeah,
day.
but
So
listen,
it's like
that doesn't mean that you
I
don't
just
take
work
a
on
break,
myself.
because how many of these people got rich, they got wealthy, they got famous, and fucking killed themselves or ended up on a drug habit or some shit? You know why? Because they did
Well,
all that grinding and all that work and they're still not fucking happy. They
you
still
know
don't love
what?
themselves. They still don't know themselves. All that working and grinding and getting to here, and now what? You can't take
And
none
you
of that
know
shit with
what?
you.
Listen, and I will say this. I will say this. I'm starting to learn a little bit more. And I think again, this comes from childhood shit, right? So when your childhood suggests in your life like you don't have a lot of things, and a lot of your focus and energy and things are focused on you have to obtain a certain amount of possessions and worldly things to find happiness or to be happy, and that becomes your mantra for life. Or the one thing that I'm starting to realize now is trying not to place as much of my happiness and success on the things that I have not yet obtained, but try to place my happiness on the things that I have obtained and the place that I am in life. Because I always feel, because I always measure myself like, I'm not there yet, I'm not there yet, I'm not there yet. But, you know, sometimes I have to stop
and look at where you are.
Look into where I am.
How many
like
people
what I have.
How many people want to be where you are, right?
You know,
that was part of my meditation today. Part of my meditation today was list all of your accomplishments for 2021. And then tell yourself out loud how proud you are of yourself for accomplishing those things. Because like you said, we just live in a time where we're always worried about what's next. We're always worried about what we haven't done. But you have to celebrate what you have done. I don't own my own business. I don't have a boxing facility or a fitness facility. I don't drive a Hummer.
Well, yeah, I mean, something, if I step back and really look at it, like I can say that I am proud of myself for the accomplishments that I have in the places that the places that I've been and the things that I've done, the things that I've overcome. But there have been a lot of times when I don't give myself, I guess, enough credit for it, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Because I still always feel like, when you look at other people who might be the same age as I am, like who are the same age as me, who have more than I have, I'm like, I end up looking at myself, damn, why the fuck, da-da-da-da, and then I start getting crazy in my own head, and then I start, downing or belittling my own self and undermining my own accomplishments of where I've come from and, where I've been and shit like that. Because I'm telling you, like, there was a point in my life, again, when I was in Chicago, like I was like I keep telling people, like I was straight up and down homeless, like homeless, like not, like I said, not just living from house to house homeless. I'm talking about, man, homeless, living in an abandoned building type homeless type of shit, you know what I'm saying? And I was able to, pull myself out of that, you know what I'm saying? So I have had a level of success and a level of proudness of myself that I should feel, but it does sometimes, I do feel like I do underappreciate myself sometimes, and that's something that I'm trying to get better at.
The comments have been pouring in.
Well, we'll get to them, sis. Roll them out.
Okay. Boaz King says, I heard Polly and I'm sold. Then he says, I need therapy for real. So a couple people said they don't understand meditation. Let me be clear. This is the first time I've ever tried to meditate, right? And I am like a lot of you are saying, my mind, like I literally every night take something to sleep. Like I either take a muscle relaxer or some Benadryl or sleep aid because my mind never shuts off. Like my mind is just constantly going and I'm constantly, similar to you, Paul, just worried about what I got to do next and I need to do this and how come I haven't done that? It's just constantly. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this meditation. So what I started with a guided meditation. So like I said, it's Deepak Chopra. I can send it to you if you want it. But it's a guided meditation. So he kind of guides you and what you should be doing. And then he tells you. And I have found, like the first time I did it, I was like, what am I feeling right now? Like my mind was clear. And I literally kind of felt like I was like floating a little bit. And I was like, what is this I'm feeling? And he says, when your mind starts to wander, when you start to focus on the sensations in your body, say this to yourself so you can come back. And it does work. So I think that somebody said they fall asleep when they try. So I usually do it in the morning. So I guess I'm not sleepy. For those people, if you meditation, I'm thinking, I'm still new to it, but I'm thinking, one Scorpio Chica says I need to re-engage in meditation. Nitra says she can't relax her mind enough to do it. Sneezy says I also do a spiritual burning meditation during the full moon once a month. It's amazing and healing. Boaz King says a man is instilled that by society, like it's mandatory, like what you were talking about, how you need to get to the next thing, you need to accomplish more. America is the only country that we are taught to work ourselves to death. Here's the thing. I saw something the other day and it said that part of the reason why people accept jobs and take jobs is because of the benefits, right? And the benefits include leave and vacation. So why are we now feeling guilty when we like, I'm taking vacation? Because it's like this conundrum is your word, Paul, right? They want you to come work like a Hebrew slave, don't take any time off. Well, then what the hell is the point of the benefit? So now I'm using the benefits that you all told me I had when I got this job. I tell Brian this all the time. I said, Brian, listen, don't work yourself to death for any job. Now, I know it's a little different if you own your own business, but if you're just working at a job, don't work yourself to death for any job. Because guess what? If you die trying to do this job, they might send you a plant and hire the next person and keep it moving. Period.
Right. This is true.
Let's see. Everyone needs a break. Just don't live there. Wealthy folk also play hard. And as a man, you want to push through until you get to where you feel you need to be. That's what Boaz says. You have to work, but also have to learn how to make your money work for you. When you work a 9 to 5, it's 9 to 5. When you work for yourself, it's 24 hours, his Wonder Woman says. Nitra says you also need to enjoy life. Boaz King says, but in America, as a black man, unfortunately, that's the requirement. Again, it's called balance. Somebody called Boaz insane. Wait a minute. Sneezy says, if you have never listened to Sarah Blakely talk on failing, an empowering message about how failing at things are where the life lessons are. And I would agree with that. Flips and Design says reflection should be your word for the year, Paul.
Okay,
that's a good one. I think that's good.
But I was kind of like, what did I say my word was? Follow through.
Yeah, he said follow through. So when you say follow through, you're still along those lines that I got these things to do. I like reflection. Yeah. I think you should really think about, meditate on the word reflection. Stop focusing on what you haven't done and what you need to do, and focus on everything that you have done, right?
Well, I know one thing that I haven't done. Haven't figured out how to use this damn Cameo machine. Anyway, I'm sorry. That was random. This is an outburst. I apologize.
Scorpio Chica says you should be very proud of yourself. Boaz King says, and that will motivate you, bro. As a child, we did a shelter, and I said, I'll never live like that again. At 2:40 a.m., I was laying in bed for an hour thinking of posts I need to make. Boaz King, I do the same thing. But guess what I've also done? I've also learned how to schedule posts, right? So I've also learned that if I'm thinking about it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when I left work on December 17th, I scheduled a New Year's post, a Christmas post, a post about this. I scheduled all of that so that the whole time I was off from work from December 17th to January 3rd, I didn't think about work at all. Everything was scheduled, and it worked for me. So we also have to start thinking of like, okay, how can I make this easier? Let's start, because now we're in the best time of our lives when we have so many tools at our disposal. Imagine if you had started a business or had a business, you know what I mean, in 82. You know what I mean? How much harder it would have been to get the work. Now you got Instagram and Facebook and all this other stuff that you can advertise your business. You can schedule it. You can ask other people, hey, post this on your page. There's so many things we can do so that we're not working like Hebrew slaves and not enjoying the fruits of it. And he says, but mind you, I didn't post anything today. Nitra says, since the pandemic hit, I've been working from home since March 2020. I've taken more vacation days than I did when I've gone into the office every day. Exactly. Because guess what we're realizing? What we're realizing is that life is short.
Ain't that the truth?
And when you go, nobody's going to talk about, man, he worked really hard for his boxing, and he worked really. They're going to talk about the character of who you were, right? They're going to talk about what you meant to them in their lives. They're going to talk about the times that we spent together. Nobody's going to get up and talk about. Somebody may say he had great work ethic, but I mean, for the most part, none of that's going to last, right? We all want to be comfortable. We all want to, make 6-7 figures. We all want that. But at the end of the day, like I used to tell my son's father, I'm not going to put you on child support. Number one, because I don't need it. But number two, because when my son turns 18, he's not going to look back and be like, well, at least he paid that child support every month. He's going to look back and want to know whether you spent some time with him, whether you were a father to him. So child support is not helpful to the child in and of itself, because it's really just to make me feel better, because I feel like I'm sticking it to you because you got to pay this certain amount every month. That's not what
right.
We got to start really like, what are our goals, right? What are we really trying to accomplish? Where are we right. really trying to go right now? And I think reflection is a good one for you, Paul. I think you should really consider that one.
I mean that's a good word, reflection. Yeah, I'll do that. I think that's a good word. Definitely a good word.
Flips and Design says, I've been the most relaxed in my entire life since retiring in December 2020 from my industry. And you know what else? What I've done recently is like, so here's what happened. When the pandemic first hit, remember everybody was talking about starting your business, right? Do y'all remember? Everybody was like, you need to have a business. That's why you start a business. You need to have a business. So I literally felt all of this pressure of like, why don't I have a business? You know, because people always tell me what businesses I should have. You know, I do graphic design, so people are like, you should do that for a business. And I'm really organized, and so people are like, you should have an organization business. But deep inside of me, nothing in me feels like I really want to run my own business, right? So, but I felt all this pressure from everybody saying, this is why you need your own business, right? So now I'm starting to feel bad about myself, because I'm feeling like I'm not being as productive as what people say I should be during this when the pandemic thing first shut down, right? But then I was like, why am I measuring myself on what other people think? Why do we do that? Why do we spend so much time and energy on and usually it's people that have no bearing or merit in our life whatsoever.
Right.
So what I've done is, you know what, I might not be starting a business, but I'm gonna learn how to do things. So my newest thing, and I don't know if it's because I'm like over 40 now, whatever, but like me and my girlfriend laugh that we're excited to get together and drink wine and make crafts, right? So I told y'all about the Cricut machine. I'm super excited when I Cricut something new. I don't plan to sell it. I don't plan to start no business with it or whatever. I mean, probably could, but I don't want the pressure of that, right? I just want to enjoy the fact that I love this Cricut and I love making things with this Cricut.
You know, and that's kind of cool, because it's kind of like today, as a matter of fact, I will say this. Like, I always talk about what I want to have and the things that I almost had, you know, because even about like real shit, like just before the pandemic hit, you know, it was a situation where I thought, we're still working on it, but I thought I had came into like an ass truck of money, like real shit, right? To the point where, you know, I was out looking at like $1 million fucking homes, and like I'm telling you, it was crazy. And even, you know, with my business, like I'm always chasing money. Like I'm always chasing money. And then, as a matter of fact, today I came out of my office, I grabbed my little paddles, and I got in front of my students who hadn't seen me in a while, because, you know, we haven't been having classes, you know, gym was closed and COVID or whatever. I grabbed my paddles and I got in front of my students today. And I can't explain it. Like the looks on their face when I stood in front of them, it was like, coach is here. You know what I mean? So I think, honestly, so like at that moment, I felt like the riches and the money that I think that I've been trying to reach has been directed in the wrong way. I think the riches that I have, that I'm probably a millionaire in, is the smiles and the joy of just teaching boxing and just teaching what I love to do. And you know what I'm saying? And just that, I think instead of me, you know, trying to chase after this monetary shit, I think I want to just chase in more smiles, because it's nothing like that. So the excitement that they was on their face when I was just doing pad work with them, although it wasn't long because my arm was hurting, but just the excitement that they saw me and they kind of like their faces kind of like lit up like, oh shit, coach is here. Like that was like
and knowing that you make a difference to somebody, right? Because guess what? You get all this money and you make no difference. What's the point?
It's really no point.
Let's see what the comments are saying. The comments are saying, making memories with those who matter to you is important. You can miss out on that if you're working all the time. They keep moving. Also, look up the poem The Man in the Glass by Jenny Gautama. The secret reminds us that we must be grateful and appreciative for everything we have now. Take the pressure off of what else you need or want. Focus on being gracious. And that's another thing. I did say to myself, you know what? I need to just focus on what is here and what's now, right? Because we spend so much time worried about what we have to do next and what else we have to do and what we haven't done that you don't appreciate what's here and what's now. So that's a good reminder to just be grateful for what is here and what's now. Thank you, One Scorpio Cheek. I'm gonna just enjoy my cricket. Meanwhile, Boaz says, a cricket, can I order 500? His Wonder Woman says, I used to work for my kids to make sure they had more than I do. And one day my son said, Mom, you have to live too. We often forget that. One Scorpio Chica says, in 2007, I almost died. I was done with that. Nitra says, chase happiness. And the Throne, Grow the Solution says, Real Facts 100, a great coach. Flips and Design says, Coach Superman, your students sound like they love you and look up to you. And that's what's important.
I think, you know what, I think they do. I guess I never really realized sometimes, like, I don't know. I guess sometimes I don't realize,
how important you are to them.
Like, yeah, I guess like what an impact I am, because I never really like look at myself as like a role model or a mentor. Really, I just be telling them shit. Like my older students, you know, like the one who's actually out there in the gym right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell them things. Like if they come in, I don't know. I just never really looked at myself as a mentor per se. I just tell them what it is. Like this is what it is, and this, you know what I'm saying. But maybe I am a little bit more important to people. And to my students than I think I am, or that I even give myself credit for. But I just never really looked at it like that. But today I can say I did, because when I came out, like again, they haven't seen me because I've been hiding, I've been just tucked away, not trying to get other people sick and shit. But when I came out today, this one little kid, he was just like, his face just set it off with me. Like he was just like, Coach, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, like I didn't even know you. I was like, I didn't even know you'd be excited to see me. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. And they just started kind of like performing a little bit better when I was doing the pad work with them and stuff like that. Because my other student, he's been like the one who's here now, and my other one, they've been like running classes for me and training people for me. But just to kind of like the students to react to me the way they did was like, I don't know, it was kind of cool.
Oh,
so maybe
they love
I don't
you.
know, maybe feel like maybe I am doing something in the right way, whatever. So maybe it's not always about.
One Scorpio says they definitely love and appreciate you. They love you. They miss you. They need you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was kind of cool. It made me smile a little bit. It did. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. It made me smile.
I mean, and I think even when you had that little scare a few weeks ago, it should have shown you like people fucking love me. Like, you know what I mean? Because I think, you know, with everything going on, we all kind of have a tendency to feel like we're not that important to the world.
Well, that's how I was feeling.
At least I have. I'll speak for me. Like, I just have felt like I'm just not that important to the world. I do think, you know, my kids actually say to me quite often, because I had said my daughter, because I cook every day, right? So I haven't cooked since New Year's Eve. I cooked today for the first time since New Year's Eve. And I came in the kitchen and I was like, I don't know. And my daughter was
I mean,
huh?
It's not funny, but you said I haven't cooked since New Year's Eve. Nigga, that's only been like, what, 3 days, 4 days ago.
Right, but my family, like my kids, my daughter came to my door and was like, Mom, are you just never going to cook again? You haven't cooked since New Year's Eve.
Like it's been 4 days, like literally 4 days, like 4 days ago. Like, you make it seem like it's been like.
She was like, you haven't cooked since New Year's
Eve.
I'm like, and not to mention that it's a refrigerator full of food, right? So, because the day before New Year's Eve, I made salmon, fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, broccoli. New Year's Eve, I made black eyed peas and rice and ham and cabbage. Like, so the refrigerator is full of food, right? And so I was like, so I had said to her, I said, what are y'all going to do without me? And my daughter says, we can't live without you. What do you mean? I was like, what? She's like, we're not going to do anything without you. Nothing can happen to you. And so I think I know I'm probably pretty important to my kids, but in the vast, universe, we just kind of feel like I'm just not that important, right? If anything happens to me, the world can keep moving, the job will keep going. It won't affect that many people. But the fact is, we don't know who it will affect. Like you and I were just kind of having this conversation, even doing this show. We realized that we may be affecting more people than we ever thought we were actually affecting, right? You know what I mean? Maybe. So let's see. Comments say, have you never had an affirmation for yourself? When I taught pre-K, I would have my students say one every morning and believing in themselves. They always come back to it during their struggles throughout the days, and it was very successful for them. Or I should say successful for us as a class. Now, what's funny about that, Sneezy, is that I've always done that for my kids, right? So my daughter, I would like write on sticky notes positive things for her, and I would stick them in her room. And on her mirror, it has this whole message that I had like stickers made up that say, "You're gorgeous, seize the day," those type of things. And when I stopped doing that, my daughter was like, "You don't write me notes anymore," right? So, and so I've always done that for my kids, right? I've always maintain positive thoughts for them and text them things. And even Brian, sometimes I'll leave little notes in his bag and just little things on his pillow or whatever. But you're right, it's something that I've never done for myself.
All right.
And so why do we not affirm ourselves? Some of it I think is because we're also kind of taught that like you shouldn't think too highly of yourself and that kind of thought process. But why do we not affirm ourselves more?
I don't know. I mean, I like, okay, so like I will affirm myself. I would give myself positive affirmation a lot of times if I'm doing something. Like, so for instance, I because we're talking about, like, so for instance, like when I'm boxing, like when I step inside of a boxing ring, I affirm the shit out of myself. It's like almost like you have to affirm yourself because it's like you talk yourself into this, I'm absolute great. Like I can't be beat. You can't beat me. So like I will affirm myself then. Like I'll always say, like when I step inside of a boxing ring.
But you do that because you feel like you're good at a thing, not because you're affirming the core of who you are.
That's my point. That's what I was getting to. So I know that I'm good at that thing. So I will affirm myself because I'm good at that one thing. But then sometimes overall, without that one thing, I guess I don't affirm myself enough. You get what I'm saying? I was feeling like I was less. Yeah, I wasn't important. That's why
And you know what? I started to realize that it was even difficult for me to accept compliments. And I started to like really explore why is that? Like I don't like people, like they're doing now. They're saying you're great, you're the best, you're awesome. It's hard. It was hard for me. It still is sometimes hard for me when people say those type of things to me. I'm just like, yeah, okay, thanks. But I don't know that I really like internalize them and receive them. I think I just feel like people just say things to make you feel good. They don't really mean that. That's not true. Or it's only true if you're doing something for them. Like I had all these things that I guess negated all the positive things that people say them to me all the time. And what I have started to do recently is like really explore why is it difficult for me to accept these compliments at face value, right? Not to put a, well, they only said that because on it, or not to feel like, well, that's because you do this for them and stuff like that. Do you feel like you have a hard time accepting compliments?
Probably, I guess, or I mean, yeah. When I guess hard time accepting compliments as far as maybe I'm doing a good job, or maybe I'm. I guess
like if I
hate
just
to
sent
say
you a
it.
text message tomorrow morning and was like, "Hey, you're the greatest. I just want you to know, have a great day." Would you receive that and be feeling like, "Shit, I'm the greatest," or would you kind of just brush it off like, "I guess she just wanted me to feel good this morning"?
Um, pro Probably just like, okay, well, thank you, good morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I would really like receive it like, damn, I am great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't really do that too often. Like, damn, I am great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think that I'm pretty good again at what I do, but sometimes I guess it's hard for me to understand maybe the impact that I have at what it is that I'm doing good at. Does that make sense? Did I say that right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That type of thing. I would say that.
I'm working on that because I really don't know what that stems from. So, I'm working on that. Let me read some of these comments.
Okay.
Sneezy says, oh, one Scorpio Chica says, I do that. Even in my sister circle, we have a morning group chat and share those every single day, no matter what. Sneezy says, my son and I do them. We put them at the door, so when we leave in the morning, we pray and say our affirmations. Flips and Design says, I have a hard time with compliments too, and so does Owens. Why? Why do you guys feel like you have a hard time with compliments? Let's talk about that for a little bit. We got about 20 more minutes left in the show. Why do we have a hard time with compliments? I suspect some of it is because, like, you know, you don't want to get like a big head and think too highly of yourself, right? So there's always this balance of not thinking too highly of yourself and not thinking too low of yourself. Brian is ready. So there's always this you know what I mean? This whole, or is that just me?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me, I guess it was, you know, again, you know, it's sad to say that a lot of things probably stem from childhood, but you know, when you grow up in a life in a world where you don't, it's like when you grow up in a life in a family where you don't even get praise and compliments and, you know, hear loving words, you know, from people in your own family, then as an adult, when you start to hear those things from strangers, it's almost like, really? Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not something that you're accustomed to hearing. It's not something that you're used to. So then all of a sudden, when you start hearing these things, it's like, nah, I don't really believe that because I never heard that shit ever.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
And I think that's
you know
why I took that role with my daughter, right? Because I knew that I grew up with low self-esteem. So one of the things that I decided was like, I don't want my daughter in particular to ever feel, you know, low self-esteem. So from the time that she was a baby, I just would always, you're so pretty, you're the greatest. And I would always just lavish her with comments. Now I think sometimes she loves herself in a way that I never did, right? Like my daughter, when I tell you my daughter loves herself, and I think it's a good thing, you know what I mean? But she loves herself in a way at that age that I never did. And that's the reason why I did it, is because, like you said, I just felt like I didn't grow up with people that, you know what I mean, made me feel good about myself. So I know that as a woman in particular, when you don't feel good about yourself, when you have low self-esteem, you make bad decisions, you pick these dudes that ain't shit, you know, you do all these different things, you give your body to people that don't necessarily deserve it because you just want love and attention, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what, when I have a daughter, I'm going to make sure that she never feels like she has to seek some random ass dude to make her feel loved, because she's going to know from the time she was born, you are loved, you are special, you are important. Right. Let me see. The one Scorpio Chica says self-worth, esteem, the audacity you think you're great, and it's okay to feel that way. I remember I was working at a job, and my boss pulled me into the office, and I have to think of the lady's last name, but her name was Marion somebody, and she had a poem where basically she's asking, she's challenging you to see yourself as great. And why you should see yourself as great. It's actually on my Facebook. And it has impacted me since that time. It's impacted my life moving forward. Like she said, it's okay to feel like you're great. It's okay to be smart. It's okay. And when he gave me the poem, I was like, why is he giving me this? But clearly he could see in me, as much as I tried to pretend like I had it all together, he could see in me that I questioned myself and I doubted myself and I had self-esteem issues, right? So, Flips and Design says, I'm always dissecting the compliments. What are you doing? You've been driving the car everywhere you go. Flips and Design says, and I do that too, right? I'm always like, well, why did they say that? Well, what do they mean by that? Well, you know what I mean? Like, I can't ever just, if someone wants to say, you're the greatest, I'm like, why are they saying that? And so like she said, it's always a dissection. I don't ever just be like, you know what, thank you, I am great. And so we have to work on it, right? His Wonder Woman says, do you think you've become desensitized to compliments considering your career in boxing and always being in the light in a sense?
I mean, that's a good question. Maybe. I think a lot of times, again, like I'm just so I probably, maybe. I mean, that's something I can, like, I guess, reflect.
You need more time. You need more time to soak that in.
You know what I'm saying? To soak that in. I've just never really looked at, like I said, I'm good at saying that I'm good at something, but I've never really, I guess, accepted the fact that I am good. I guess, does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm good at something. I know I'm good at boxing. I beat your ass. But that's just my thing. But to sometimes say that, like, I'm a good person, or sometimes I say that I have self-worth, or maybe, I am important to people, I guess, is probably sometimes hard for me to grasp. At times,
I've always felt like people feel that way because I'm doing something for them, right? Because my personality is that I'm very giving. Like, I really just enjoy giving, right? I love giving gifts, and I love, I just enjoy giving to people. And so I think that, like, when people give me compliments, I kind of just feel like, well, it's because of what I'm doing for them, right? They wouldn't feel that way if I stopped doing these things. So one Scorpio Chica says, the homework for this week is to just say thank you to a compliment just once this week and reject how you feel about it. Just give it no deeper thought or meaning. Just say, and here's the thing, I always say thank you, right? I always say, oh, thank you. You're so nice. You're so kind. But it literally goes in one ear and out the other for me. Like, I forgot to put my phone on the charger. It literally goes in one ear and out the other for me. So, his Wonder Woman says your importance is immeasurable. So you want us, so she says, not reject how you feel, reflect. Reflect on how you felt when the person gave you the compliment. Say thank you and reflect on how you felt. His Wonder Woman says, what you do for those kids is priceless. It's the same things. Like, I've had guys say to me, well, I know that, men tell you all the time that you're beautiful. I'm like, yeah, but it literally, like, no, it's never been a time that a guy said to me that I was beautiful, that I walked away from that feeling like I am beautiful. It literally just seems like the thing that guys are supposed to say to women, particularly when they're trying to get at them, trying to get to know them, whatever the case may be. It just never occurred to me then maybe I am beautiful.
Yeah, I get it. I definitely get that. I get it.
So this is a very interesting. We're gonna have to. That's our homework for this week.
Yeah. So maybe, accept the compliment, what I'm saying, reflect on it. And then we can, and then just see, do the work, do the homework and see if you're able to accept that compliment and really dissect it and take it in and make it a part of, who you are. So moving forward, you're able to take compliments from people without it thinking that it's some other ulterior motive other than just what it is, and just being okay with that compliment, what I'm saying, or whatever. So, again, today was good for me because I really felt like I was kind of important today. I was like, well, maybe my students really did miss me today. Like y'all miss me for real? Like, okay, shit, let's go. Let's go. Let's get turned up in here. You know what I'm saying? So,
but the other thing I recognize is that, like, how it makes other people feel when you don't seem to care about how they feel, right? So, and I felt that most recently with your situation, what happened to you, right? I was like, what is wrong? Like, doesn't he know that, like, I really love him? I really care about him. I'm really hurt by this. And, and it was like, you were like, yeah, I hear you, but this is where I was. So it kind of made me think about, like, all the other people around you, right? Who are saying positive things to you, who are encouraging you, not just you, but all of us, who are encouraging you, who do care about you, who do love you, and how much we discount how they feel and where they really are with us.
Well, yeah, but like I told you before, like during that time, when you, unfortunately, what I'm saying, when I was in that headspace, I just felt like,
I get that.
Later on
I get that. But when you left that headspace, did you ever say to yourself, man, these people really care about me, these people really love me?
I'll be honest, I did, but even then I still thought that it was coming from a selfish place. Like, if this is what I want to do, like, not saying that anyone's gonna be like, well, yeah, nigga, just go do it. But it was just like, I felt like that people wanted me around for them because that's what they wanted in their life, because it was gonna make their life do whatever for them. But what about me? What about the pain that I was in? You know what I'm saying? That's where I was, because it was just a lot of self-loathing on my part. But no, I don't think I ever really, sat there and thought, well, gee, maybe I could mean something to someone, or maybe I could mean more to people than I even give credit for. And that has come in the weeks since then. You get what I'm saying? And then I realized that even going through that it was probably a lot harder for people to digest than it really was. You know what I'm saying? Especially people who were probably a lot closer to the situation than others. You know what I'm saying? And to have to see that person go through that and witness that, I mean, I didn't really realize that, it probably took just as much of a toll on them as it did me. You know what I'm saying? Because they were like, they had to like literally witness it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And shit like that. So I didn't, at the time I didn't really realize it and shit. So it was like, but now I get it. I get it.
Okay, well, as long as you get it. Wait a minute. I feel like this conversation had got real heavy, but listen, I'm ready to in these last few minutes of this show. The show started off talking about being toxic, right? The last show we did, we ended up like talking a whole lot about like sex and stuff like that. So I have a question. Is it toxic if a woman cries during sex, right? I hear men say all the time like how that's just crazy and it's too much for them. Like, you think that's toxic if a woman is like crying during sex?
Listen,
Mama B said yes.
Like, okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna be now. See, here's the thing. When I have never, like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I've never. I don't think my love making is good enough. I've never had nobody cry. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never had anybody. I don't think my love making like has brought a tear to nobody's fucking eye. And if it did, it was more like, maybe they like dealt with me and it was like, I can't believe I let this asshole have sex with me again or some shit like that. But this motherfucker, he didn't piss me the fuck. It might be like, but never like, you know what I mean? Like I've never had anybody cry. I've never seen it. So I don't think I give it out like that. That motherfuckers is crying over my dick. I don't think that.
So you don't think it's toxic because it's never happened to you, ladies? I want the ladies. Mama B says, "Cause why you crying? That's toxic." I want the ladies to chime in. Have you ever? Listen, I'm not talking about no boohoo. Like, oh my God, I'm talking about you just shed a tear. You got a little teary eye, like the dick was just that good. Or it could have been like, this nigga hurt me so bad, but we fucking anyway, and I'm crying. Like, it's different reasons for why we do it, right? Ladies.
But I've never had that.
Home, I guess. So I want the ladies to chime in and tell me, have you ever cried during or after or see, one Scorpio Chica says crying is a moving experience. I'm telling you, listen, I've had some listen, and I'm like, shit.
Really? I've never had that moment. I've never had a moment or experienced a moment with a woman where, like, after we was finished, I looked at her and saw her crying. You know what I mean? Like I've never seen it. I don't even know what that would be.
Mama B says, I have cried during sex once because the night was shitty and I was mad at myself. Nitra says, that's funny. Are you sure about that? Paul said he never ran out of business before either. Ran out the bushes before either, but
Nah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I would have to like really, really sit there and think about it, but I don't think I've ever had no experience where I've seen, like, I'm not saying like a woman might not have cried. Nah, I've never seen it. It was never brought to my attention like, hey, I'm out in these streets crying over and over. Nah, I ain't never had that. Never. No.
One Scorpio Chica says, okay, Janae Aiko says in Pussy Fairy that the D made love to her soul.
What happened?
So maybe you you never gave out D that was that good that it made a woman cry.
Maybe not. Maybe I ain't never gave it out that good to make nobody cry, because I ain't never, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know how to react. If I ever put it down that good to make a person cry, listen, I tell you what, if I ever put it down that good, make somebody, that's some affirmation for your ass right there. I tell you that. Like, you talk about affirmation, shit, I'll be affirmation. Talk about affirmation, I'll be affirmation to the motherfucker. You hear me? Shit, you put it down. Hey, nigga, did I just make you cry, nigga? Did I put some tears in your ass? Yeah, that's affirmation right there.
Hey, listen,
all the way.
Comments say, the Throne Growth Solution says, yes, I've cried because the dick was good, because the love I had for, and the contraction was intense. The attraction, I think I should say. The attraction was intense. They had so much love for them, and the attraction, and the dick was that good that they just cried. One Scorpio Chica says, sex or fucking don't create tears, but love making, shit. So that's what I'm saying. So when the last time you made love, Paul? When the last time you made love?
I mean, I don't, the funny thing about it is, like, whenever I've done it, I always thought when I go say always, but sometimes, you had those moments when you just like, but like, I don't know. I guess I've never made love. If I ain't make, if I've never made nobody cry.
You've been making love. When was the last time you made love to somebody?
Nigga, I don't know.
So I don't know. It's been a long time.
Probably, I don't know. I don't even know. Like I said, because I'm thinking maybe I never have. If I've never made anybody cry, then maybe I've never made motherfucking love.
So in the comments, they want to know, have you ever had tantric sex?
This conversation is toxic. Shit, I don't. I've never made that conversation.
Because look, you
Toxic,
can't make
right?
love.
I've never.
Mama B says you can't make love to just any and everybody. Right?
What the fuck is? What's tantric?
You never. It's so much you don't know, Vaughn.
It's tantric. I don't even know. That's probably for another show. I don't even know what the fuck.
Yeah, another show will explain to you what tantric sex is, right?
We'll talk about that.
You had an experience where you guys just looked into each other's eyes and just experienced your breathing and stuff like that. You've never done anything like that.
I might have experienced me like doing some heavy breathing or some shit like that, but not just like enjoying the sensation of each other breathing. Like I've never done that.
Mama B said, B says, I got you, I'll teach you. Ow.
I never did that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what that is.
Mama B says she's gonna teach you.
Oh shit, okay. I hear that.
Okay, yeah, so listen, guys, we have about 7 minutes left in the show. Do you have any closing arguments or thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, I will say like, if you ever been in a toxic relationship, I guess, I guess the next show, I guess part 2, and then we can kind of go into another subject as well. I guess we can, like I said, we never really got to how do you get out of these toxic relationships. We talked about being in them.
We did. We really haven't talked. We said that you had to go to therapy. You had to do something. You had to work on yourself to tell you something to a place where you can walk away.
True. I guess we'll shit, yeah. But now I will talk about this though, and this is real. And this is on some on the business side of
Mama
things.
B said when she teach you about tantric sex, you're gonna cry, so be ready.
Cry? Listen, I ain't crying. Now, I'm not. This is men. We're not supposed to cry from sex. Women are supposed to cry from
sex.
You're
lying. Lies told on IG. Men cry during sex and after sex, and when they come, cut it out.
I ain't crying. I've never experienced no woman crying over no sex I gave, and
You probably have.
I don't think I've ever.
Sensitive and shit.
I ain't sensitive. I'm not sensitive. Anyway, but this is real shit though. Real shit. We're gonna say this real quick, and then we're gonna probably have to get on out of here. But look, we have I want to say big shout out to WMEG online radio station for allowing us to be a part of their team. We're going to, to do the best we can to add as much spice and as much flavor as we can to the radio station, and continue to try to build our viewers for ourselves and the station, and really, really move forward. Also, with that, let's keep it 100, right? We got to put time into this. We got to put work into this thing. So also, like, if you have a business that you want to plug, that you want to get out there, you know what I'm saying? Let us know, because this broadcast will be for us, but it's also going to be online, and some things like that. So it's a big opportunity to get your business out there, for people to know about your business and things like that. You can end up being a sponsor, and then we'll plug you in, and then it's different packets that you can pay to have your business out there, to get it out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So we talk about all this affirmation and self-love and having love for motherfuckers and all this. Don't like the church. Don't get quiet when I start coming to y'all, say, look, I'm gonna need you to sponsor yourself on this business. Let's go. Let's get sending them sponsorships. Don't get quiet. Don't get quiet. As my young students say, keep that same energy, that same, oh, we love the show. Oh, well, yeah, guess what? Yeah, well, you might, yeah, that's yeah.
Okay, all that. Moving on from that. I think they got the idea. One Scorpio Chica says, gotcha. So for those of you who watch us live, the people who watch us live on Sundays and Wednesdays, those shows will be aired on WMEG. So the show that we do like on a Wednesday is going to be aired on a Sunday on MEG. And the show we do on Sunday will be aired on Wednesday on MEG. But our Tuesday and Thursday shows are live. MEG, I will post all this. Paul will post all this. MEG radio is on Apple Music at WMEG. It's also on the website, and there's also an app. So we will post all of this. Should you not be able to watch it live or you want to listen to it again, just know those are all the ways that you can see us. Once the throne says, I'm down 100. So we'll make sure that Paul, make sure that you talk to the throne about sponsors.
I'll talk to everybody. And then also when you go to, it's easier if you go to the WMEG website, you'll be able to click on the link. It's also on the link is going to say something about like a free trial or whatever, but you don't hit the free trial button because you don't have to, because it's already free. All you just have to do is hit the thing and start listening and stuff like that.
And there are certainly other shows on WMEG. They broadcast 24/7. So if there are other shows, the more we're learning about our family, we'll be plugging some of those shows too. Last night I listened to the Classy Lady show, and they talked about addiction and things of that nature. So there are certainly other shows. They broadcast 24/7, so you don't have to be just listening to our show, but make sure you show them some love in general.
Absolutely. And so you know what I'm saying? So again, like also please, like if you think the show is good and you think it's interesting, please, you know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to share alike, you know what I'm saying? Tap into some other people, tell people about the show, get more viewers to come over and watch the show. Again, as always, if you have topics or anything that you guys want to discuss.
Yes, because we got to come up with more topics now, 4 days a week, so.
Yeah, 4 days a week. We got to come up. We got to stay. We have to stay relevant. We got to stay fresh.
We're down to the 1 minute mark. You can follow me at Miss Hot Topic on IG. On Facebook, it's also Miss Hot Topic. iTunes, Miss Hot Topic. TikTok, it's Miss Hot Topic.
Okay. Me, you guys can go to either one of my pages. You got to go to if you have children that need to be trained, you want to get in shape, go to my IG, First Class Boxing and Fitness. We try to do a good job of updating things, the prices and posting. It's a new year. Let's come on and get in shape. Always reach me here at Still Radio _uncut. Facebook is just my name, Paul, Still Radio, Tillery. We can get that. You can reach me on those platforms as well. We want to say thank you to our other co-hosts for joining us in.
He's at work. We're going to miss him sometimes because he works at night. So he won't be with us tomorrow. But you guys tune in if you'd like. Tomorrow we will be here. Same time, same place. Tomorrow night at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. It has been a blast. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much for participating. We'll see you tomorrow.
And we will see you tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in to Still Radio. I'm your man Still. That's Ebony, a.k.a. Miss Hot Topic. Join us, you know what I'm saying, late but never. How do you say it? What is it?
Better late than never.
Better late than never. My man Brian, a.k.a. B Rabbit, a.k.a. the Green Eyed Genie. Again, we'll see you guys tomorrow, same time. We did?
We did.
Well, no, my clock says 10:59. But anyway, see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.
We're working on this, guys. It's not going to be as important for us to cut off on time on Sundays and Wednesdays because they're going to air these shows later. So if they just decide, okay, this is the end of their show, we won't ever know. But we're trying to tell our show to stick to the time frame for the radio. So y'all bear with us. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. And again,
we will see you guys
tomorrow.
Peace.